Results to the election came and came fast. There was no suspense. He was in a lead fast and early, and it was growing.
It held that shit.
And it held. And it was announced like that night. I'm used to them having to count votes.
Count the votes and shit.
Right. Yeah, we was sitting there like, yo, all right, maybe we'll get it in 2 days or so. No.
Yeah, no. By the time I was headed to the strip club, that shit was called. And they certainly had it up inside the strip club, the election. And
on
a lot
the
of
big
these,
screen?
yeah.
And guess what? Go ahead.
Yeah,
keep going.
presidential viewing. And a lot of people in the New York nightlife is trumped out.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I
They
was about
are,
to say.
the bartenders and the strippers are trumped out.
That's exactly what I was
Some of
about
them
to ask.
Puerto Rican.
No, a lot of them. The Hispanic community was going crazy.
Some of them Puerto Rican.
They went big for Trump.
Yep,
They
they
did.
did.
They
They
did.
were going
That-
No, they
crazy.
stepped.
Yeah, that island joke ain't mean shit to them.
Not at all. They stepped.
They were defending it.
There's
Yeah.
a deep conversation to be had there. I'm just not the person to have it. But there is certainly a conversation to be had there about,
is.
you know,
is.
you know.
It is.
They'd rather that than,
Yeah, it is.
yeah, man. It's a deep conversation. It's a frustrating conversation for me, man. I mean,
Well, self-hatred is a real thing, one. And two, a lot of people is cool with the rules of the game as long as they got a seat.
yeah.
But do they really have a seat?
No.
See what I'm saying? They don't have a seat. They just feel that their
Yeah,
seat
but you won't get one.
They feel that their seat is higher up.
You
than
won't
ours.
get one.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, like we saying to let, I ain't the one to talk about it. I'm skipping it. But hey, if you listen out there, y'all can read my brain and know what I'm thinking. Hopefully.
I mean, but you ain't wrong though. I mean, I to me, we've been having a fight as a community, as a country about Kamala Harris, and everybody says one thing or the other. Either she's not going to win because she's black and a woman, or she's not going to win because she's a bad candidate, right? And both can be true.
True.
And we don't have to pick between the two, and that to me is the point. I don't think she ran a good campaign, and I think she got handed a bad set of circumstances.
1,000%.
She got hot potatoed for sure.
1,000%. That was the one thing that I was thinking, that she inherited Biden's stink.
Yes.
As it relates to, us giving so much foreign aid to Israel and also to Ukraine when this country has so many significant problems. There's a homelessness crisis. There's
Hurricanes.
Exactly. There is the
Inflation, the migrants, all that shit, all the
inflation,
economy shit,
migrants. It's just like, why are we giving away billions and billions and billions of dollars to fund wars
Right.
when the country's suffering?
Yep.
And I think that that's what she inherited because she was part of the administration, even though these were not her decisions necessarily.
And that's the catch-22, right? Because if you don't attach yourself to Biden, then they say, what's your experience? So you say, I was vice president. I was here for all this shit. Then they go, oh, you was here for all this shit.
All that shit. That was everything.
Yeah.
There was, she couldn't win for losing.
I think what she could have done and should have done is separate herself from Biden on a couple key issues. Not all of them, but a couple key issues, especially the stuff that we don't like. You could say, yo, the student loans, I was in his ear for that. You know what I mean? Or, getting, treating, black women's health issues better. I was here for that, right? We're fighting to get reproductive justice. I was there for that. But that war over there, I'm the one saying, let's stop it. And when I'm president, I will stop this war. But she didn't do that. She kept playing to the right. And that's the thing I think that was the mistake. I said this last time. White people don't elect Democrats as president. Black and brown people do. In other words, nobody since Lyndon Baines Johnson in the 60s as a Democrat has won the presidency with a majority of white people. Most white people are going to vote for Donald Trump. So what are you going to do for your base? And what are you going to do to pull enough white people over to win? She went too far on the other end. So all the policies that she advocated were right-wing policies. And so she abandoned the people who would have gotten her home, that may have gotten her home. And people don't want that. The other thing is, the last thing I'll say about this right now is, going into the election, only 20% of Americans said that they were happy with the direction the country was going in. Oh, that means 80% of the people were not happy with the direction the country was going in. And she's the face of that direction. She's the bus driver because Biden stepped off. So you got to show how you're going to change the direction. And she just kept telling everybody, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. And Trump is saying, when I was president, things cost less. You had more money in your pocket. There were no wars. And he's naming all this. Now, Trump isn't telling the truth. Let me be clear.
He's not at
He's
all.
lying.
He's giving
surface level shit.
Potential facts, but they were not as a result of you. They were just circumstance. Like, okay, we wasn't in the war, but it wasn't because of you. Prices were cheaper. It wasn't necessarily because of you. Like, inflation is a real thing. So, yeah. Like,
but he made it look good.
Yeah.
You can make something look good. It's like in sports. You could have 20 points. Everybody's 20 points ain't the same. Some are empty points, some are real points. In this case, the numbers look good, but he wasn't responsible for that. Sure. You don't take credit. It's like they say on The Wire. Like, you don't take credit for crime going up because you got to take credit for crime going down, or vice versa, right? That's the problem here. And so under Biden right now, the economy is stronger. Wall Street is stronger. There's a lot of great stuff happening under Biden, but I wouldn't give Biden all the credit for it. But that's what's happening.
And they also do a horrible job of branding it.
Yes,
the Democratic Party does a really bad job at tooting their own horn.
And the crazy part too is you can ask her a question about the economy, and she won't say what you just said. Yo, the economy's stronger here, 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 here. Under us, we had this economic growth in these sectors. Bop, 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 bop. She won't answer it concisely. She'll start talking about some other shit, and it was throwing people off. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I think, in my personal opinion, some of those votes were hers to lose or hers to gain. And I think she just didn't show enough to win the people over that were middle of the road.
And that's what frustrates me, right? Because Donald Trump ain't answered a straight question ever in life.
Not once ever in life.
Never.
So she's getting held to a different standard.
He's charismatic, though. And his base is his base. And he knew what his base was, and he catered to his base.
But some people weren't in his base. Like, I'm in the barbershop. I'm online. I'm talking. I'm in the cookouts, and people are saying I'm voting for Trump. They not his base, and they still voting for him.
But what you just said was the Democratic nominee has to win with the blacks and the browns. The second that she loses some of those blacks and browns, it's insurmountable for her to win.
Right. I'm just wondering why so many blacks and browns were persuaded by Trump, and they've already seen what happens under Trump. They aunties and uncles died under Trump. They lost stuff under Trump, and they still like, you know what? Let me try that one more time, because at least it ain't her. And that's the part that confuses me and frustrates me a little bit. And it's not just because she's black, and it's not just because she's a woman, but that does play a part in it. That plays a part in it a lot to me.
I think that's lazy.
Yeah, I don't.
What, the whole woman the fact that she's a woman?
Yeah.
Me too.
How so? Tell me why.
I'm trying to be careful with this.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I think remember I said it's both, but I'm saying I don't want to make that the only issue, because I think there are a lot of people who don't.
It's definitely an issue. It is.
I don't see that at all.
Me either.
Okay.
I really don't.
There's a lot of men that expressed there's no way I want a bitch in the White House, not a black bitch.
I've had people tell me that, not the black bitch part, but the just a woman part for sure.
I believe that.
The numbers dictate otherwise. The amount of people that came out to vote for Kamala is the same amount of people that came out for the last few Democratic nominees outside of Biden, who they claiming to have did something to his numbers.
Yeah, that had 20,
her number
20 million
is,
numbers magically out of nowhere.
Right,
he was in the 80s. She was in the 60s along with everybody else that ran. Right. Are you of the belief that Michelle Obama could have won?
No, absolutely not.
See, that's why I disagree with that.
I disagree with that too.
I disagree with that.
She's popular because she's not running for anything.
I'm not.
I'm just saying, when Barack Obama was running, they were calling her a monkey. They were calling her an ape. They were saying she was crazy, radical, all this shit. It's not until she wasn't a political threat that everybody started hugging her and loving her.
Let me ask you a question.
That's very true.
Let me ask you a question. The votes that Kamala lost, that black male vote, right? Some of that white woman vote, some of that Hispanic vote. Do you think that when Michelle Obama gets on TV and starts to running her mouth, she gains that vote?
Depends on what she says. Depends on what she says.
See, but
how she says it.
But that's where I think some people on the Kamala side are lacking accountability.
Bro,
I agree.
That matters, bro.
Like, it's. I'm comfortable having this conversation in hindsight. I didn't really feel great about lending my voice to some of this stuff because this is a really powerful platform.
True.
And podcasters clearly have helped to decide things in one way or another.
For sure.
When Dana White is up there thanking the Nelk Boys and fucking Aiden Ross and whoever. See, but long before that, probably one of the best things to happen to Trump was him losing the last one. Because I can tell you, as somebody that travels every year, my last 2 times in South Carolina when I landed at the airport, they stopped the streets. They shut the streets down because Trump is here talking to people. My last time in Florida, Like it seemed like every time I traveled, that dude was in a neighboring city talking to somebody.
Bruh.
It wasn't just the Chef G's and the tricks. He had his bases covered in terms of I'm hitting the Potters, I'm hitting the black entertainers, I'm hitting the white Potters, and I'm hitting the streets. He hit the streets.
He did.
And all he had to do was say, hey, yo, shit is fucked up. Nothing else mattered.
Nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Nothing else mattered.
And to your point with the economy, I'm sorry for cutting you off. You're saying the stock market is here, the stock market is there. Average, everyday Joe Schmo Americans,
He spoke to them.
don't give a fuck about the stock market.
That's true.
They don't. So even if you're saying, yo, we hit these benchmarks in the economy, the average
don't
person
resonate.
don't feel it because fucking greens is higher. Fucking
Eggs,
Brussels sprouts is
Yeah,
higher, eggs is higher. That's what people are talking about.
But unemployment is low. I mean, it's interesting.
Unemployment is low, but that's a stat that can be played with.
But most people have jobs. What I'm saying is most
But
people have
what
jobs.
kind of jobs? You
And
got
that's the
40-year-olds
problem.
working at McDonald's now. So yeah, the unemployment numbers are going to reflect that people are employed, but it's gainfully employed. Now you have grown people that need 2 jobs just to put food on the table for necessities.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with anything you're saying.
He spoke to those people
Yes.
not just better, a lot better.
Yes.
And it's okay to have voted for Kamala and say this in hindsight. She came off as disingenuous.
She did.
And every time somebody tried to find a way to say that, the brigade popped up
Yeah.
to say,
Y'all don't like black women."
yada.
Nah. That's why I disagree. I think that you're right that he spoke to them better. That's true. But I think the caveat to that is speaking to somebody better doesn't mean you're speaking to them truthfully or with a solution.
Doesn't matter.
I'm with you.
Doesn't matter.
I'm with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just pointing that out because I don't want the audience to hear he spoke to them as if he has a solution. I know y'all not saying that. I just don't want people to confuse that. Donald Trump absolutely spoke. And preachers speak to people all the time and take their money, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can speak to people's pain and say it wrong. Kamala Harris, I agree with you, is not as charismatic, is not as good a candidate. Neither was Hillary Clinton, right? But the other thing here is it's not just that.
Yeah, but Hillary still got up there and tried to address the concerns
She
of
answered
people.
questions. She did.
I think she did
We,
too.
answered
listen,
questions,
Mark, we
Joe.
telling you,
She
or
answered
there's
questions.
people out there saying we did not get that from Kamala.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm asking the why though, because sometimes 2 candidates can say the exact same thing, and we can hear it from one person, and we can't hear it from the other.
Cool.
You're
You know
Exactly.
why? Because I resonated with you with some level of relatability.
Right. And I'm saying that there were a lot of attacks on Kamala Harris, in addition to all the stuff y'all saying, which is true. Again, I ain't disagreeing with nothing y'all just said. But on top of that, some of people's inability to hear her was because
She's a black woman,
Because of the package she comes. It's not just her being a black woman. It's about class. It's about race. It's about gender. It's about her coming after Joe Biden's administration. It's a lot of factors. But yes, race and gender
But
matter.
she never, to your earlier point, spoke against that. So when they very directly asked her, hey, are you going to do the same shit that Biden did in regards to Ukraine and fucking Israel?
she bigged them
and
up.
she said yes.
She bigged them up.
Yeah. But what else can you say?
Mark, that is a crucial mistake.
I agree.
That is a crucial mistake.
New Joe Budden.